Today I want to show you a really great variation on the teriyaki steak recipe that I put up beforehand, but I also want to talk through a few variations on some of the ingredients you can use for teriyaki sauce. I've got a lot of comments on my YouTube channel asking, what if I don't have sake? What if I can't find mirin? What if I don't drink alcohol? So let's go through all of that first up. So kind of a two-part video today. Before we get to the recipe, first I want to talk through some of the comments that I've been reading from you guys on this channel around substitutions for making the teriyaki sauce. If you've been following for a while, you know that that's one of the most popular recipes that I've got on here, but there are a few different things that if you can't get hold of certain ingredients, if you don't eat certain ingredients, then there are plenty of things you can substitute with. And then part two, we're gonna move on to a variation of a teriyaki beef recipe. This is gonna be a red wine teriyaki steak donburi, or a rice bowl. First up with the ingredients. So the standard teriyaki sauce that we have, and if you don't have the recipe for that, again, just up here, go and watch that first because you kind of need to know what's going into it if we're going to talk about what you can substitute. Standard ingredients: soy sauce, mirin, sake or cooking sake, and sugar. So I want to talk about these first. Soy sauce, I don't mind about brands all that much, you know, like as long as it's a good quality thing that you're using, and it doesn't have to be the best quality because you're turning it into a sauce after all. A naturally brewed soy sauce, this brand is Yamasa, in case you wanted to know. Kikkoman, a Japanese style lighter soy sauce, tends to be pretty good for teriyaki rather than anything that's too dark or too heavy or too salty. This is mirin. Mirin is sort of a sweet rice wine that's used for adding gloss to your teriyaki. The brand here is Appare. And for sake in particular, you don't need an expensive sake. Don't go and buy $20, $30 bottles of sake. This is probably $5 or $6, absolute maximum. That's all you need. Doesn't even need to be made from rice, to be honest. It can be made from grain alcohol or something else, but a bit of rice in there tends to add a really nice flavor to the sake. So what if you can't get hold of these ingredients? Well, if you understand what they're used for, obviously sugar, you could substitute honey or something like that. It's gonna have a very different flavor, but you could. It's added there for sweetness. You can't really substitute soy sauce. Teriyaki is a soy sauce based sauce. If you really couldn't eat gluten, for example, you could substitute soy sauce with tamari, which is a kind of a soy sauce made only from soybeans without any wheat added. Now, with the alcohols, they're used for two different purposes. Sake, if you can't get hold of that, you could use vodka, sort of an equal part mix of vodka and water. Or if you can't drink alcohol at all, you could substitute the sake for even just chicken stock, a regular old stock, or just water itself, just to dilute down the rest of the teriyaki. In terms of the mirin's also a rice alcohol. You can substitute another alcohol. So I have friends that came to Australia back years before you could find sake or mirin anywhere, and they would use dry white wine instead of sake in a sweet, like a sweet Riesling instead of mirin, and you can use that. It'll have a slightly grapier flavor. Some people like that, some people don't. But if you want to substitute something else for the mirin and you can't drink alcohol at all, you can use some of these things. So this is muryot. It's a Korean corn syrup, or even just regular old glucose that you can find in the supermarket. I wouldn't use quite as much, so 200 mils for our regular mirin, maybe 100 mils of each one of these corn syrups will still give you that nice gloss when you come to it. That moves on to part two of this video. So the recipe itself is a red wine teriyaki steak donburi, or a rice bowl. So coming up with this recipe, I kind of pulled from the experience of my friends who couldn't find sake and mirin and thought, what would happen if you did a red wine teriyaki using Shiraz? And it went together amazingly. This is a really, really delicious variation on the standard teriyaki. It goes really well with beef, better than it does with fish or chicken, but you could use it with that as well. But it's just following the same process as the regular teriyaki sauce, just substituting red wine for the sake and also bumping up the sugar a little bit to give it a bit of a richer flavor. We can start with exactly the same teriyaki recipe, just substituting red wine for the sake. So 250 soy sauce, 200 mils red wine, 200 mils mirin, and then about 80 grams of sugar. I'm using a little bit more sugar because I want it to be a bit thicker and richer. Stir that over heat, dissolve the sugar, put it into a bottle, and we're ready to get on with our recipe. So, red wine teriyaki made, steak ready. If you want a more detailed version of how to cook the steak in this recipe, just head to my other video for the teriyaki steak recipe there, but it's very, very simple. We're gonna slice some garlic, fry that in a bit of oil to get the garlic flavor into the oil, then fry our steak until it's cooked just as I like it. I'm gonna take it out of the pan at that point, deglaze the pan with the red wine teriyaki and reduce that down into a sauce, and then we'll get back here and put together our donburi. Steak looks pretty good now, so I take it out of the pan and I'll reduce the teriyaki in the pan, deglazing it until it's ready to coat the steak. Then we'll be ready to put together a donburi. So the steak's cooked and looks absolutely beautiful. Time to put together the donburi. Donburi just means a rice bowl. So it starts obviously with a bowl of rice. I could just put the steak on top of the rice there, but I want to separate it with a bit of this. It's nori, the kind of seaweed that you'd see wrapped around sushi. Sometimes you can just put a square on top of the rice, but I find when you're eating a donburi with chopsticks, which is what you would normally do, a whole square of nori is hard to kind of break apart. So I prefer to just cut it into thin strips and scatter it over the top. Now for my steak, nicely roasted, and the fragrance of this really is quite incredible. The big difference between the red wine teriyaki and a regular teriyaki is the aroma. You have that lovely fruity, almost black curranty aroma of red wine that comes out in this teriyaki, and it's actually gonna go really, really nicely in the donburi. So just a few slices of steak on top of the rice, a bit of a drizzle of my sauce, some of my garlic chips as well. And then when you're putting a donburi together, you kind of want to finish it off with something that's got a bit of pungency or piquancy. In Japanese, you'd call it karami, something that's a little bit spicy. So I'm using wasabi, but it's not the regular wasabi. This is actually wasabi stem that's been, I guess, kind of chopped and mixed together with some salt. You could easily use regular wasabi, even a bit of English mustard or horseradish if you preferred. But this kuki wasabi stem is actually really, really nice. Just drop that on the side there. And that's a red wine teriyaki donburi.